Good morning. Welcome to Law Business World, Inc.'s seminar on the Solo Practitioner Startup Toolkit. My name is Randy Berholtz, and I am a co-founder of Law Business World, and I'm also an adjunct professor of law at Thomas Jefferson University, and I'm also a practicing general counsel. Today's program is going to last 3 hours, and what we're going to talk about today are the essential tools which a solo practitioner has to have. What we're going to talk about, the actual agenda for today is the following. We're going to give an introduction to the course. We're then going to have an introduction to Law Business World, Inc. We're then going to talk about an overview of the field. Afterwards, we're going to break down today's seminar into two parts. One is, how do you build a successful solo practice? And then two, how do you shout about it? How do you tell others about the process, about the firm? Next, we're going to talk about ethical issues. And then finally, we're just going to give closing remarks, and we'll take various questions. So let's start it off. What we'd like you to take away from this workshop is, one, how to learn to build your own business. Two, how to walk away with the blueprint for success for your law firm. Three, gain the confidence you need to succeed. Four, gain an advantage over your peers in law school who have never taken a business course. And five, get exclusive discounts with Law Business World in our incubator program should you actually decide to start your own law firm. Who are we? Law Business World was created 2 years ago by Stephen Lehat, a practicing attorney from Newport Beach, and also Randy Berholtz, myself. We decided to start the company because we felt that there was a need in the law school community and in the starting lawyer community to actually have a course and a series of instruction programs to actually teach people how to be lawyers, how to manage a company, how to sell themselves, how to do marketing, how to get clients, how to retain clients, and then also how to make money out of this process. One of the main reasons that we started this program was for the following. We believe that there should be no unemployed lawyers. Let me tell you a little story. I'm actually a 22-year lawyer. I've spent 10 years in big law firms in New York, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and also in San Diego, California. And I've also spent 10 years in-house as the general counsel for a number of both public and private pharmaceutical companies. Now, once when I was in between jobs, I remember saying to a person at a meeting, I said, I'm currently an unemployed lawyer. And he looked at me and he said, you've graduated from law school. You have a degree. You should not be unemployed. There are no unemployed lawyers. And I thought about that and I said, you know what, you're right. And then what I did was, it was actually a situation where I gained a new positive outlook on my practice. Let's talk about an overview of our topic. And so what the topic is, what are the tools you need to be a successful solo practitioner? And what you first of all need is you need to have a BA or a BS, or an engineering degree. You next need a JD, and you need to pass the state's bar exam. If you haven't passed the state's bar exam, you need to focus on doing that. Next, once you do that, you're a lawyer. So as a lawyer, you need customers who need your legal work, who will then pay you money for such work. Let me just repeat that. It's very basic. Here's the basic hypothesis, the basic equation of being a solo practitioner. You're a lawyer. You have a skill. You need customers who need your professional legal work, and they will pay you money for such work. You must provide them with a suitable professional product in a timely fashion. As beginning lawyers, you may say to yourself, well, I don't know enough about the law. How can I go out and practice? But the laws of all 50 states say that you don't need to be an expert in every body of law that you practice, but you need to do the necessary homework to actually gain those skills. So how do you do that when you first start out? What you need to do is you need to either work with a mentor, an older lawyer, a more experienced lawyer, who can check your work, who can guide you. Or you need to gain the necessary skill yourself to provide such a service. How do you get this necessary skill? Well, all 50 state bars normally require lawyers to take MCLE credits, which are continuing legal education credits, which are courses that you need to take so you can stay current on your various profession, on the various aspects of your profession. Next, so what do you do if things go wrong? What do you do if you get it wrong? What do you need? You normally need to have malpractice insurance in case things go wrong. What malpractice insurance does is a lot of times malpractice insurance will help you to pay for some liability without going into your personal assets. So let's take a step back. What you also need here, one of the reasons lawyers form corporations or they form limited liability partnerships is because what you try to do as a lawyer is to keep liability within a company and to keep it away from your own personal assets. And we'll talk more about that in the course. Next, what you need to do as a lawyer is you need to collect the fees and costs from your clients. If your clients don't pay you, you can't make any money. So part of this business is really getting paid, having an agreement to get paid, getting paid. And if clients don't pay you, then you have to seek other remedies to get payment from such clients. Next, what you really need to do is to keep your clients happy. You need to keep their business, and you need to gain new clients. And we'll talk about that in our course. A lot of times, you're not taught this skill in law school. This is a very basic skill, a sales and marketing skill. And it's also a client satisfaction skill. How do you keep your clients happy? How do you keep their business? And then how do you market yourself and sell yourself to gain new clients? Now also, Law Firm 101 is, in order to make money in this business, in order to have a successful practice, you need to make sure that your costs are less than the fees you bring in. If you make $100, you have to make sure your costs are less than $100 so you can make money. If not, you should just go someplace else where you can make money. Also, one of the things about our profession is that you need to abide by state regulations, rules of conduct, and ethical obligations. Every industry in this country has various regulations, rules of conduct, and ethical obligations. As a lawyer, what is our main task? Our main task is to represent others. Represent others who don't have a voice, represent others who don't understand what it's like to argue in front of a regulatory body, argue in front of a court, state their claim. What you are is you are the person of last resort. And because this is such an important role in our country, in our states, We have important ethical obligations. What you have to understand is we are a guild. We are a guild that has strong rules, strong ethical obligations. You've all taken the bar exams. You've all taken the MPRE exam. And so these type of ethical obligations are real. They're important. And if you infringe those rules, if you breach those rules, there are serious consequences to this. You are representing somebody else. You are, it can be life and death in the case of criminal defense. It can be somebody's fortune in case of corporate law or other types of laws. It can be somebody's family in case of family law. One of the things about having a successful practice is to understand how to manage the success when you're both going up and coming down. What do I mean there? What I mean there is that as you grow, as you become more successful in business, one of the things you're going to have to understand is, how do I grow? How do I bring on a paralegal? How do I bring on a junior lawyer? How do I partner with other lawyers? How do I gain experience that I don't have? And so one of the things we'll talk about today is, how do you manage growth? You all want to have growth, but how do you manage it successfully? Next, unfortunately, you face, beginning lawyers are facing a growing law school debt problem. When I was a student, I graduated from law school in 1990. I came out with $75,000 in debt, primarily from law school. I thought that was a big deal. $75,000. How am I ever going to repay that off? How do I want to have a family, have a mortgage? How can I ever do anything with that? So one of the things we're going to talk about today is, how do you manage paying off student loans? How do you manage debts? How much debt should you go into? Now, I've had some students who told me they've had $250,000 in debt. Some say they have $150,000 in debt. So part of this will be managing that. Next, you have 24 hours in every day. As lawyers, you will bill. You have to decide for yourself how many of those hours are going to be work hours, how many of them are going to be fun hours, how many of them are going to be family hours, how many of them are going to be spouse hours. One of the problems with our profession is we like to brag. We like to brag about how many hours we've worked, how many hours we've billed. But it's up to you as an individual to really set for yourself goals, set for yourself standards. Here is the amount of hours I'm going to bill. Here's the amount of hours I'm going to work. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. For every 10 client meetings you'll have, you will be a success if you get 1 to 2 of those that will turn into successful clients. You will find that marketing and sales takes time. It takes effort. It takes weekends. It takes nights. But you can do it. You can do it because people have done it before. Next, you got to pay taxes. This is not a tax course, but when we're talking about finances, when we're talking about personal finances, we're going to talk about taxes. When we talk about setting up individual companies, setting up LLPs and the like, we're going to talk about what is the tax implications of doing so. What do you need to do that? Next, when you're practicing, you have to be a responsible member of the legal community. What does that mean? That means upholding this profession. We are being threatened nationally, internationally in this profession. This profession is changing profoundly. One of the things we offer at Law Business World, one of the things we're good at is looking at the literature, talking with lawyers across the world, and getting an understanding as to where the legal community is going today. Where is it going technologically? Where is it going ethically? Where is it going, how much work will be offshored? How much work should be done by paralegals? How much work should be done by non-lawyers? There's a big debate going on in this country right now about the current law firm model. Can the current law firm model work? I was fortunate in that I went to one of the highest ranking law schools in the country in 1990. For you coming out of school, even at those schools today, the business is different. You have to understand that. You just can't rely on a law firm to protect you, to help you make your fortune. You must be entrepreneurial, both inside of a firm, outside of a firm, even in an in-house practice. Lastly, what we're going to talk about is you need to train subordinates to help. And these subordinates can boost you up in good times. They can help you in bad times. And what they can also do is they can take over the practice, your practice, when you retire. Let's now go into what we like to call our Build It phase. So this is a 3-hour seminar today. We can talk for 6 hours, we can talk for 9 hours, we can have this seminar over 2 days, we can have this over 2 semesters. But what we wanted to hit today are the basics. And some of this may be simple for you, some of it may be common sense. But we don't think that there are any organizations out there who are telling you, who are trying to teach you what your basic toolkit is. A lot of these skills you may learn over time, but we're trying to help you to get a leg up. We're trying to help junior lawyers get a leg up. As an adjunct professor at Thomas Jefferson School of Law, and I've also taught courses at other law schools and at business schools, one of the things I try to do is I try to teach students to get jobs. It's about jobs, 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 jobs. If you want to be a law professor, that's another career. But what I'm trying to help you with is to get jobs. And a job to me also is a solo practice. So what we're going to talk about right now are 2 things as part of this. We're going to talk about 2 phases. One is the Build It phase, and the second phase is the Shout It phase. And what are we talking about? Build It, we're going to go through your business plan, your revenue model. We're going to talk about personal finance. We're going to talk about an executive summary. And what we're also going to do is we're going to go over a legal entrepreneur's checklist. Now, what we've handed out today to you is a startup guide for the solo attorney. And all of these topics will be included in there. But we're going to go over some of the basics right now of these areas. And then after we finish there, we're then going to talk about Shout It. What is Shout It? Well, Shout It really means sales and marketing. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about very basic business cards. We're going to talk about your elevator speech. We're going to talk about marketing for success, both traditionally and marketing using the internet, using online marketing, social media. We're also going to talk about how do you find mentors. And we're going to talk about closing the deal, closing the sale. We're going to talk about engagement letters. We're going to talk about client trust accounts. We're going to talk about how do you get paid. How do you ensure that a customer keeps coming back who is going to pay you, who is going to have the resources to pay you. Next, we're going to talk about, very briefly, ethical issues. What do you have to worry about when you're starting up? And again, this is a 3-hour seminar. We can't go into everything. But we think we think that this seminar will give you some of the basic tools you need to think further about this. And if we can help you along this way, that's great for us. And if not, hopefully we will have given you the skills, given you the basic building blocks so that you can have a successful solo practice. And then finally, we're going to have closing remarks. We'll take any questions which you have. Okay, so let's go into build your business plan. So what do you need? So my background is both in law, the practice of it, both in-house and in a law firm. I also have experience as a venture capitalist. I was in a group for a number of years called the Life Science Angels, and I was also in another group called Tech Coast Angels. So I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of business plans from companies, high-tech companies, life science companies, energy companies, green companies. And so what we're going to talk to you about is you need to build your business plan. You need to think of your law practice as a business. And some of the approaches to this business are going to be the same as what a typical company would go to. You know, how do you build it? What kind of finance do you need? Is it going to be self-financed? How do you grow it? And some are different. Some are different to our practice because we have different rules, we have different ethical obligations, and the nature of our customers are different, and the nature of our practice is different. Okay? And so let's talk about the business foundations. Let's talk about some of the main issues here. And so what we're going to do on this one is I'm going to dim the lights so you can see the actual PowerPoint a bit more here. Okay, let's talk about the business foundations. One is we're going to talk about how do you formulate a vision. Two, how do you sharpen your business concept. Three, how do you identify the problem you wish to solve? Four, define your value proposition. Five, explain why this opportunity exists for you now. Six, pinpoint your target market niche. 7, describe the service you provide. 8, recognize the available substitutes for your product. 9, find the competition. 10, develop a differentiation strategy. Let me go through the key words here. Vision, concept, problem solve, value, opportunity, market, service, substitutes, competition, differentiation. What are you? What do we have as lawyers? Are we in a product business, a service business? You are service providers. You can either be corporate service providers, tax service providers, bankruptcy service providers, family law service providers. So we are both transactional and we're litigation-based. Litigators actually, you have a different product too. Your customer is an entity that wants to have your expertise in court. A lot of your customers have no experience with the judiciary, with the court systems. But the one thing we are is service providers. We provide a service to others. We are facilitators. As transactional attorneys, we facilitate transactions. We're not the business people, but we facilitate a transaction occurring by helping individuals, by helping companies understand the law of certain areas and then move forward. Help them understand the regulatory system. Help them understand the deadlines, the filings that need to be done. As litigators, we help those same customers with disputes. And this could be in mediation, it could be in arbitration, it can be in litigation. It can be before federal courts, state courts, international courts. So what we do is we facilitate. Now, some of our business models may be different. Normally, we get paid by the hour. We can get paid by the transaction. We can have a set fee. We can have a contingency fee, mostly for litigators, whereby, if your client wins, then you win a certain percentage of that. It's normally a third. It can be 20%, 25%. I've seen it even as high as 40%. So you have to understand how you get paid. What are the business models? How do the business models change? So let's now go into each of these various aspects. Is this the same one? Excuse me. Time. It's pretty good, right? Okay. Let's continue. Step one, craft a vision statement. So let's take a step back from this even. You are a law student who's just taken the bar. You're waiting for your bar results. You don't have a job. And you're thinking, what do I do? Do I form my own firm? Do I become a solo practitioner? Do I join another firm? Do I go in-house? Do I form a law firm with friends? What do I do? Well, part of what you're doing right now is you're doing the same as a business person does. What you're doing is you're crafting a vision statement. And you need to understand that this is what you need to do. You need to formulate a vision for your business. You must describe your organization's long-term view, direction, and objective. Some of you have to be very honest with yourselves. Do you want to be a lawyer? Is this what you want to be? Do you want to be a service provider? Do you want to be a corporate lawyer, a tax lawyer, a bankruptcy lawyer, a family law lawyer, a litigator? Is this what you want to do? Is this what you want to do in this setting? You spent a long time preparing for this. You spent 4 years undergraduate normally. You spent 3 years in law school. You spent a ton of time on the bar. But you know what? If you don't want to do this right now, don't do it. Don't do it. Nothing says you have to do it. But if you do want to do it, you have to learn the rules. You have to learn how you create a successful business. You have to. And you have to be very precise with those. If you can make it through undergraduate, if you can make it through law school, if you can make it through the bar, you can do this. But you have to take the necessary steps. You can't be bullheaded or stubborn. You have to do this. Okay? So part of this is sitting down, taking the time. Maybe you're resting on a beach in Mexico right now after the bar. That's what I did. I went to Cozumel, and I just sort of, put my feet back and thought, wow, what am I going to do now? So if you're going to do that, do it. But think now. What you'll find as a lawyer, as a beginning lawyer, you not only have to work during those hours when you bill, you have to work during your off hours to understand, to build a practice, to build this successful engine. But I'll tell you, if you put in the hours, if you put in the time, you will own something. And the people in this country who get ahead today, who build it, unlike what what President Obama has said, if you build it, it's yours. And you build it, you'll be the owner. And it's better to be the owner than the worker in this society. It just is. Take it from me. I'm 51 years old. I've learned that lesson. So, step one, crafting a vision statement. You need to formulate a vision for your business. You must describe your organization's long-term view, your direction, and objective. For example, to be recognized by our clients, partners, and the legal community as one of the best and most admired immigration law firms in the nation. In your book, we go through two individuals who are thinking about what they want to do. 2 law students who just graduated took the bar. Let's assume they passed the bar. They're thinking about what's their competitive advantage. So this is their vision statement. Step 2, describe your business concept. In simple terms, articulate your business concept. Example, a boutique immigration law firm focusing on counsel and representation to businesses in labor-intensive industries and foreign nationals seeking to apply for U.S. residency, citizenship, or a non-immigrant visa. So let's go through this. They have the type of law they want to practice. They have what they want to do in that law. They want to counsel and they want to represent businesses. Okay, so who are their customers? So their customers are businesses in labor-intensive industries and foreign nationals seeking to apply for U.S. residency, citizenship, or a non-immigrant visa. So what they've identified here is the type of customers they want to go after in their potential practice. Step 3, identify the need or problem you wish to solve. Now, what I've noticed in the life sciences industry, what I've noticed in the high-tech industry, the most successful companies are not just those companies who have a product, but the most successful companies are those who have a product that solves a problem. People want to have problems solved. They just don't want to have technology that is cool, but technology that is seeking to solve, to find problems to solve. That's not what's going to win it. Be a problem solver, because people will pay to have their problems solved. So let's go through how these 2 individuals have solved the problem. What significant problem, need, or wish does your product or services satisfy? Why is it so important that customers will pay a premium for it? So let's go through this again. What significant problem? It's not a small problem. People aren't going to pay you to solve small problems. They're going to pay you to solve significant problems. Need or wish does your product or service satisfy? Why is it so important that customers will pay a premium for it? Let's go back on that term product and services again. So, as I was saying previously, you were providing a service. You could also provide a product, I guess. You could have a legal software product. It could be a contract. It can be a will. It can be a brief. So within this service, within the services that you provide, the legal services, you may also have a product in there. And you really have to think of what you do as services and products. There are a lot of internet legal products right now, contracts on the web, whereby pull a contract off, pull an engagement letter off. So there are different ways to make money in this market, different ways to make money in this business. So what significant problem does their product or service satisfy? Example, the need for legal counsel and representation on immigration matters has increased significantly over the last several years. Why is that? Our immigration laws are more lax right now. There is a high number of illegal immigrants in the United States. Business is international. They've identified the problem. This increase is largely attributed to the ever-changing legal environment of our country's immigration system, the continuous inflow of legal and illegal immigrants, and our country's demand for foreign labor. These trends are not expected to change anytime soon. Business and individuals will continue to seek competent legal counsel, a service for which they will be willing to pay a premium, given the sensitive nature of most immigration-related matters. So they're hypothesizing here that these clients will agree to pay a premium, given the sensitive nature of most immigration-related matters. Step 4, identify your value proposition. And again, let's look at the words. Identify your value proposition, value. What do you have to value? What is that service or product that you have that is valuable to come up with an answer to this problem? Explain what value your customers or client will derive from your product or service. Remember, explain what value your customers or clients will derive from your product or service. Put yourself in the place of your client. Put yourself in the place of your customer. Example, clients will receive exceptional, unmatched, and customized professional service from attorneys with a high degree of knowledge and specialization on immigration and labor legal matters at competitive and fair price. Okay, you've defined what you're saying now. Clients will receive exceptional, unmatched, and customized professional service. So exceptional, high degree of professional service, unmatched. I don't know what they mean by unmatched. Does that mean that there's no competition? Customized professional service, customized meaning it is specific to the client. From attorneys with a high degree of knowledge. High degree. They're going to pay for your knowledge. And specialization in immigration and labor. So they've gone to immigration, now they've expanded out. It's not just immigration, it's going to be labor. Why? Because immigration just gets you in the door. Now they're thinking, well, you know what? Maybe we can take advantage of the ongoing labor matters. Way to expand into niche markets, complementary markets, at a competitive and fair price. So they've gone from sort of saying customers are going to pay us a lot, so we got to be competitive and it's got to be a fair price. But this is what you do in a value proposition. Step 5. Explain why this opportunity exists now for you. Why is now the right time to launch your business idea? Example. Take a step back. This example is actually based on individuals who are in a law firm right now and who want to leave the firm and come back and actually start their own firm. But you could use the same thinking if you were going through a solo practice. Example, 8 years at our current law firm has given both of us valuable experience and knowledge in labor and immigration law. So they have the knowledge already. This experience will aid our success in branching out on our own and will enable us to provide excellent legal counsel. The political and legal climate in the United States is resulting in many changes to the country's immigration system and laws. This is leading to greater demand for legal counsel by employers of foreign labor and of immigrants, legal and illegal, working and residing in the United States. What do? They explain where they are right now. So let's take on the one hand their example. They have these skills right now. They're not partners at their current firms, but they're senior associates. They have the skills right now versus what if they were just starting out? So the difference would be if they're just starting out, they have to gain the expertise, or they have to work with mentors, or they have to be, gain that expertise from their own study. So right now they're ready to go. They're saying we have the skills, we're ready to go. Okay? Step 6. Identify and describe your target market niche. You may say, Mr. Berholtz, isn't this all the same? I mean, aren't all these steps the same? But they're not. You have to make the progression in your thought. Step 6, identify and describe your target market niche. Who's your client? Why would they come to you? First, briefly describe the market or market niche you want to enter. Example, we aim to serve companies involved in labor-intensive industries such as manufacturing, food processing, food packaging, construction, and agriculture. Also, we aim to serve foreign nationals interested in tourist, student, investor, and work visas. So let's go through that again. Intensive industries such as manufacturing, food processing, food packaging, construction, and agriculture. We know that they're very highly labor-intensive. We know that right now a lot of the people working in those industries are either on special work visas, or they may be illegal or undocumented aliens. Also, we aim to serve foreign nationals interested in tourist, student, investor, and work visas. So sort of lower price market at first, higher price market second. Foreign nationals interested in tourist, student, investor, and work visas. So they've got two markets, so it's a bit broad. Second, provide a more detailed and thorough analysis of the target market. What is its structure? Is it fragmented, meaning the market splintered into smaller fragments of a greater whole? Or is it homogeneous? Or is the market niche largely similar in habits, needs, geography, demographic characteristics? So as we talked about, the first market is the actual laborers are different than the higher end market, where it's probably more educated people, it's probably more sophisticated. So would you think that that these markets are homogeneous, or are they fragmented? I'd probably say that they're more fragmented here. What is its size? How many people, businesses, or entities can you serve? What is its size in dollars? How big is this? So one, are there potential customers? Are there potential clients? So who would the customer be here? Would it be the individual employees, or would the customers be the companies that are sponsoring those employees? Well, in the first market, it could be either, although it's probably the companies. In the second market, it's probably the individual, tourist, student, investors, and the like, or employees. So what is its size in dollars? Now, what are we getting at here? We're getting at, can these customers pay? Can they afford to pay you? You don't want customers that can't pay you. I've been very successful in my practice, and I'd say 99% of my clients have paid me. I've had to go to court with certain people. You know, I've had to go to small claims court with certain people. You know, but getting somebody to pay you isn't always easy. So can these people pay you? Is this going to be pro bono? Can you afford to go in pro bono? Your family has to eat, right? I know the bar wants us to do certain amounts of pro bono a year, which is fine. But if you don't eat, why do the business? So in the first part, can the companies afford to pay you? Probably. Can the individuals afford to pay you? Maybe not. In the second part of the market, can the individuals afford to pay you? Probably. Because they want to get into the country, and they're probably more middle class and upper class individuals. What is the growth projection? Is this going to be a population, is this going to be a market that's going to go away? Or is it a market that's growing? What do you think with these two? I would say probably market A and market B are both going to grow. But for example, we had a situation in the country where there was, after 9/11, it became harder for the second class of individuals to get into the country. So you have to take that into consideration. What are the geopolitical, events going on right now? How will they affect your market? How will they affect your business? You know, one of the good things about being a lawyer is being able to market right after there is a certain regulatory requirement that nobody understands. You come in as the hero. You come in solving a problem with a product or service, and that's what you have to do here. How can you determine these characteristics? You got to do market analysis. You got to go out there and do what your customers do. You got to go out and do what companies do. What do your customers look like? What does the market look like? Step 7. What services do you offer? You have to provide an exact description of the products and services you plan to sell. Your products and services must match your target market's needs. Remember, your job as an attorney is to provide solutions to problems. Developing a strong product suite requires a thorough understanding of your target market. You really have to put yourself in the place of your customer. How much can they pay? And sometimes what you'll find, your customer can pay a little to start, but they can pay more over time. Do you have payment plans? Do you get the money up front? Well, we'll talk about that. Do you have retainers? Okay? Step 8. What are the substitutes and alternatives to your product? You need to conduct an assessment of whether there are any substitutes for the product or service you plan to offer. Are there alternatives for your target market to get the same value you offer by purchasing another service? For example, are there other competing law firms in this area? If, for example, you're in your first target market here, Let's say, for example, there are Spanish-speaking lawyers who have been working with Spanish-speaking customers in this market for 10 years, and you don't speak Spanish. Are they currently servicing the market effectively? Is there any room for you? Or are the companies really non-Spanish speaking? Are they people who have your characteristics? Do they go to your clubs? Are they the people who are in your social circles? Are they people of your age? Okay? You need to conduct an assessment. Also, one of the things you have to look at, you have two markets, 1 and 2, low end, high end. Is the low end being served by pro bono services? Are they being served for free already? And if somebody is giving them free or subsidized legal services, why would they come to you? Why would they pay to come to you? Why would they pay full price or even a reduced price to come to you? So you have to look at both who are the other lawyers, who are the other law firms, who are the other law schools, who are the other pro bono services out there? Are they competing for the same client? And why should somebody come to you? What is your competitive advantage? Let me say that again. What is your legal competitive advantage? If you have none, you better get one. Or go to a new target. Go to a new market. Step 9, as we talked about, identify the competition. Excuse me. What you need to do here is you need to do a focused search. Find competitors that offer the same service and who are competing for the same market. Create a list. If you're in San Diego, California, where I'm located, you've got to go down. You've got to look at that list. And you know, is having a law firm in La Mesa, East County, the same as having a law firm in Carmel Valley, which is North County? Or is that the same as having a law firm in San Ysidro, which is a border town? Do they serve the same customers and the same clientele? Do a target market segmentation. Identify which part of the market each of them serves. This will give you a better idea of who you are in direct competition with. Next, identify the strengths of each firm. Find out what each one does best. Is it their level of service, price, quality, unique expertise, strong brand a strong brand recognition, market footprint, resources, number, selection of services? Excuse me. So, let's go through that again. Identify the strengths of each firm. You need a list. This is what companies do with competitive products. Maybe you sample. Maybe you get somebody to call the firm. How do you find out how much they charge? Give them a call. Have somebody else call them. Is it their level of service, price, quality, unique expertise, strong brand recognition, market footprint, resources, number, selection of services? Go and ask customers. Do a customer survey. What do you know of people in this area? You need information. Information is power. Information, having the resources, understanding it, you will know your market, because when you go into and speak with customers, you will know who is serving that market. You will then be able to differentiate yourself from other companies in that market. So identify their strengths. What are they good at? And then identify their weaknesses. Because through their weaknesses, that is how you will differentiate yourself. Because match your strengths to their weaknesses. And then that's how you will win clients. Do they have a bad reputation? Do they have a limited menu of products or services? What is their price? What is their quality? Let me mention as lawyers, I learned a long time ago when I started at the law firm of Cravath, Swaine & Moore in New York, one of the premier law firms in the country and in the world. They told me that there were two main things that they do. One is a lawyer has to have the professional expertise that is required to solve a problem. The second thing a lawyer has to do is a lawyer has to be able to be available for clients when the client needs the lawyer to be around. We had a rule at Cravath that said you have to return a client's call within an hour. Every client, all the time. And these are the skills, this is the training that you all need to go through. If you're not going to be in a law firm, and it looks like a lot of us today, a lot of you today won't, because the model is changing. This model of partners hiring junior associates and of companies paying for the training of junior associates is going away. And if you're going to be a solo practitioner, or if you're going to leave a firm, you've got to do the education part of, of it yourself. You have to do that, okay? So, and you have to develop good skills. What skills do I have? So, if possible, assess past and present performance. Find out how much they charge. Where do you fit in with the billing rate? Find out what is different or unique about their product or service. Step 10, differentiation strategy. And I'm sorry, we have a lot of information on this slide. Let me just read it through with you. Step 10, differentiation strategy. A differentiating strategy is a plan that describes how your products or services different from those offered by your competitors. How is your product going to be different than everybody else's? Clientele. Target market. Who's your target? Is it wealthy individuals, foreign national investors interested in migrating to the United States to start a business, and small to medium-sized companies with foreign national employees? Okay? That's their target market. So what you've got to focus on is clientele, service delivery, access to underserviced market, mission and image, and price point. So let's now go to service and delivery. They're trying to differentiate by, on the one hand, they want a highly personalized service tailored to each individual client. Depending on what the client needs, we're able to do on-site visits, conduct business remotely by telephone or online video conferencing, or the client may come to us. The goal is to offer clients a unique and highly rewarding experience. We do this by becoming a partner with the client, not just a lawyer. Attention to detail, professionalism, courtesy, honesty, availability, and a strong work ethic are the main avenues through which we accomplish this goal. Let me mention to you, there was a famous cartoon in the magazine of the New Yorker a while back, and it was 5 guys on a bobsled, and then on the bobsled's going down the hill, and there's a guy dressed in a suit with a briefcase running after it, and one of the guys in the bobsled says, "Hey, wait, we've got to take along Bill. He's our lawyer." So what does that mean? As a transactional lawyer or as a litigator, you want to become a valuable part of the company you're going to be representing. You want to be there. You want to be that advisor. The amount of work, the amount of hours we spend with our clients, holding their hands, helping them through personal issues, will be rewarded. It will be rewarded to you in many, many times over. We are advisors. We are not just service providers, we are advisors. We are advisors that for people who have needs, who want to get deals done, or who want to have problems solved. We are problem solvers, we are facilitators. And to be very successful in this industry, you must think of yourself as that. Think of yourself as not just a 9-to-5 person. And when you're doing a solo practice, you're not a 9-to-5 person. If you want that, go find a job someplace. Go find a job in a company. Maybe find a job outside of law. But I'm telling you right now, if you want 9-to-5, this is the wrong business for you. But if you want a successful and rewarding business where you can make, a practice where you can make a difference in people's lives and really facilitate the process here and really do something special, this is the field for you. Okay? Service and delivery. We just talked about that. Access to underserviced market. They're going to focus on Mexico and Latin America because they both have family living in Mexico, and they think opening a satellite office in Mexico City will be inexpensive and easy to achieve, and it also gives us direct access to a sophisticated client base that has been largely underserved. And finally, it will allow us to see our families more often. Well, if you want to see your families, well, I mean, maybe that's a side effect you should consider, but I'm not sure that's a big consideration, except if your families can be an important a part of your business model. Mission and image. Let's talk about the mission. What they want to do is they want to have an active role in immigration reform through creating discourse with academia to promote and inform the impact of immigration in our country, as well as to educate on the importance of developing an effective immigration system. What are they trying to do here? They're trying to create even more business by having an effect on the policymakers. And that's something we should talk about at some point here, about your role in the community. And one of the roles in the community for you is to be a policymaker. But being a policymaker, you can also be a policymaker who helps change policy, and then you can also reap the rewards of that change. Okay? Next is image. They want to have the image as an experienced attorney, entrepreneurs with strong roots in Mexico, dedicated to providing a sophisticated service to an equally sophisticated but underserved community. Price point, slightly above average, slightly below average. Figure out what will be the best value for our clients. What do you see as one of the problems in their strategy right now? One of the problems is they want to open up an office in Mexico. Are they Mexican lawyers? No. What are they going to have to do? They're going to have to figure out how they can open up a representative office or take the Mexican bar to be able to practice in that country. So that's one of the problems I find right now with the differentiation strategy.